Welcome to another episode of The Caneologist. It's your boy Kane. I just came back from kickboxing sparring. And I thought before I hit my second workout, I got some protein in. But I'm gonna do a coding video real quick. I want to solve another Leetcode because we gotta consistently solve these things in order to get good. So let's get to it. All right, the next question. So we did. We did Roman to integer, we did palindrome to sum. Let's try longest common prefix. What is that? Okay, so longest common prefix. Okay. Write a function to find the longest common prefix string amongst an array of strings. If there's no common prefix, return an empty string. Okay. Let's look at the constraints. So 1 to 200 characters. Okay, so this prefix could be 200 characters in length. At minimum 1. String length could be up to 200 characters long. So the prefix could also be the same length as the word. Interesting. SQLite only consists of lowercase letters. Okay, so they're making it easier for us because we only need to solve it with lowercase letters. Okay, so let me delete this. STRs. Okay, STRs. Okay, so input is this. We know it's going to be a prefix. If there's no common prefix, return an empty string. If there is a common prefix, return. If there is a common prefix, return that prefix. Okay, so this is the good part. This is something good. So when they say if there's no common prefix, return empty string, we know that at least there's gonna be one case where, and let's say they have 100 different test cases, there's gonna be at least one where you won't have one. You won't have a common prefix. So right off the bat, I can start. If I don't know where to start, I can start here. Return an empty string. I can even run this. It might even pass a test. You see? You see that? You see, I'm a freaking genius right here. Dog, race car, car. Right? Because none of these prefix matches, you can go straight to this empty string. You see what I'm saying? So like just off the bat, you get a clue as to how to solve the question. So that's one test case already solved. All right. Let's look at the next part. Okay, now I have to figure out how to find commonality across a bunch of words. How about I can create a I could go a while loop to keep going over and over and over and iterating. The other thing I can do how would I solve this if it was English? Right? That's the way I'm going to think about it. How would I solve this if it was English? So the first thing I would do if I was just looking at a bunch of English words is I would go through each word. Okay, so I look at each word. Okay, so I'm looking at each word. And I see the first letter is the same, so I look at the first letter of each word. Okay. I look at the second letter of each word. Okay. So I just have to do it. I can just solve this using English. So let's go to the whiteboard. So I'm going to copy this array. And then I'm going to go to yeah, so I'm going to go to the whiteboard. So I'm basically just going to solve this in English. This is what you can do if you get stuck. You don't need to know all these fancy tricks and it's like super crazy algorithms and all this stuff. How do you reset this board? There's got to be a way. I think there's a lasso feature. Okay, so I'm gonna go here, delete, delete, delete. These are my emails. The only thing I don't like about a lot of these apps today is they're so like email-y, spammy and shit, you know? Either way, those are like throwaway emails I just use for whatever. Text. Okay, what if I just take that, delete? How do I delete it? It won't let me delete words. Oh, okay, deleted. Alright, okay. So I'm gonna take, this is my array. Can I raise the size? What the hell? What the hell is this? Okay. So I just have to zoom in. It's kind of like Figma, but you have to like zoom out. Okay, so basically what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna look at the word and solve it in English. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna physically solve the problem with my eyes, ears, mouth and nose and senses and all that shit. Right? So with computers, like you could be a fancy genius and do all these cool tricks and I know 10,000 algorithms, or you could just be like me and simplify your approach. Actually just solve it as if you were doing it on a piece of paper and a pen. And it's like, okay, what's the common thing? And and literally in a lot of cases for these easier examples, you can just get away with actually just solving it and turning your ideas into code. So I'm going to do that. So we already got our base case where it was like, why do I keep open? It's like a habit for me to open VS Code. I keep forgetting it's like on an editor online. So we have this base case here. All right. So all I'm going to do is this. All I'm going to do is this. So first, there's my pen. So this is F over here. This is F. This is F. All right? So I'm going to go through all these elements. And the first one's going to be F, F, F. So I'm going to create a temp variable. I'm going to call it T. And I'm going to fill it with the first variable. So I'm going to create, it's going to be a while loop, basically. So once I go through each element, And then I'm going to create an index. I equals 0. So I equals 0, and then I'm going to take this, which is going to be the first element of the first word. It's going to be the first element of the first word, and then I'm going to create a prefix. Prefix, I'll call it pref, and I'll make it an empty string. Because what I want to do with this empty string is basically take this temporary variable. Sorry for this, I don't have a mouse, I'm using a trackpad, and it's fucking terrible. But I'm going to use the prefix of the first one, and I'm going to create I equals 0 to go to the first one. So this word, this word, this word. So prefix of the first one is F. The first word's prefix will be F. Right? So if the first word's prefix is F, then I go through the loop again. So boom. So I could go a while loop and a for loop again. So an embedded for loop or whatever the fuck. So I go F, 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 F. So now we're done this loop. All of these are still F. So at this point, when I'm done the loop, I'm going to add F to the prefix. Pre plus, oh my gosh. Pre plus F. Right, and then I'm going to increment this by 1. Then run the loop again. Oh, and this is going to be the second letter of the first word. Then we go second letter, second word, second letter, second word. Then I add O. I mean L. L is the second letter. So now I got FL. Now I go to the third letter, W. Now it's W here, and then I add 1, so this is going to be 2. So now the index is 2, so it's 0, 1, 2, so O. 0, 1, 2, O. 0, 1, 2, I. Let's see, it fails here. So if it fails here, I'm going to break out the loop. And I'm going to return my prefix. Return pre. Boom. So basically, now I can replace my return case. Oh my god, VS Code again. I can replace my return case with this prefix. Because right now I know that. So I can go prefix equals empty. So basically, and then I return prefix. See that? So now I can run it, get the same result. I still pass my base case, but now if prefix gets filled up, I just have to return the prefix. So now I can go through each element of the array, while. And at most, it can only be the length of the first word. You can't have a prefix longer than the first word. So I know how to terminate my while loop when this first word is done. So while, and this is strs. So str0 is the first word. While I, so I'll create my index, I equals 0. And I'll create my temp. My temp, it's going to contain the first letter. So temp equals it's gonna be strs 0 for the first word, and then we want to get the first letter of the first word, so whatever the index is. So I'm gonna put I here. I'm gonna make I, then I'm gonna cut and paste that. Temp is strs I. So now it goes to the first word. We just iterate through the first word and use the first word as the reference point. Because if the first word has FL and everything has a prefix, it's gonna match. Up until the full length of the first word, that's the worst case scenario. So I equals 0, strs I, and then while I is less than the length of, how do you check length? Check length in Python of string. Len. The len method, let's just see an example. I hate these stupid logins, it's so annoying. Okay. Where the gear do? They don't even show where to use length. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. Okay. I just want to see code. Show me code. String length, len a. And then boom, len a. 13. It's -1 just to see what's going on. It should be 12. 12. Like right after I saw this, I'm gonna go to my second gym session. I like to train twice a day, but in between training sessions, I need at least 2 hours, so I just eat, rest, recover, and I go back in. Oh my god, I opened VS Code again. All my little habits are just like coming out here. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you guys are like, yo, why is this guy shirtless? It's because I'm always like training, and I just do these in between my training sessions. So yeah, I'm just gonna put on my gym clothes again and get the fuck out of here. Okay, so let's see. Oh my god, I opened VS Code again. Oh my gosh. You guys should play like the take a shot game. Take a shot every time this guy opens VS Code. That'd be funny. Okay, so back to this. So length, strs. Just like we did here, we just want to get the first word. So it's going to be str 0. It's the first word. This is looking at the letters within the word. While I is less than, so let's say it's 3 at 2. While I is less than the length of the string. So let's say it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 6 letters in flower. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, because I starts at 0. Okay, so while I is less than len strings, now I want to go through each word in the string. So I have to do another loop. I'm thinking if there's an easier way to do this. Maybe I could do one pass. You know what I'm saying? Like if I just do a while loop, go through each letter of the first word. Yeah, but it'll have to keep going over and over and over. So pretty much what I'm already doing now. So I is less than STRs. Okay. We go for loop. For I in range. So we have to go in range in order to add these strings. So for I in range. Oh no, we don't, because I have temp here. And I'm just gonna add that letter if it's the same. Yes, so for I, yep, so for I in, so I'm just gonna go through the words. So for word in STRs. So for word in STRs. So I just want to go through each word, and then if there's one that doesn't match the index, so it doesn't match temp. So if temp is not equal to, if temp is not equal to the word at I, so the prefix, so it's technically always going to match the first word. See what I'm saying? Because it's always going to go through flower, flow, light. But my temp is always going to be so technically I could put temp within this loop. So that way every time the loop resets, this temp becomes a new temp. So right now temp is going to be F for flower, because I is index 0. So it's going to go the first word in strings. So first word flower is F. Yes, now it goes to the second word. So if it's not F, so let's say this, instead of flow, it was glow with the G. So if it's not, then I just break up the loop. Break. Yeah, so I just break out the loop. Oh no, I could just return. I could just return prefix here as it is, because I just wanna leave it with whatever it is. That way I completely end. If you break here, it's just gonna break out this loop, but it's still gonna continue the logic, right? So I want it to end completely if it doesn't match. So let's say it makes it through all these words and it matches, so F, F, F. Then I want to take prefix plus equals 10. So basically it's like F, F, F. Okay, it made it without returning. Now we added the prefix. See what I'm saying? Now we add the prefix. Now we go to the next letter, and then we have to increment. So now we go to the next letter. So it's going to be I plus plus. Oh yeah, it's Python. So you have to go I plus equals 1. It doesn't have the plus plus like C++ or JavaScript. So plus equals 1. Now I is equal to 1. I is still less than the length, so FLL. Now we go to L. L is 1, 0, 1. Now we go to the next letter. Because now we're at temp. Temp is now equal to it's the first word, second letter, because the I has incremented again. And we ran a new pass of this while loop. So now this is going to be 1. So str0, 1. So str0, first word, because this is 0 index, 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, 2 words. So that's 3 words. 0, 1, 2 is the index. And now the first index is now 1. This is incremented to 1. So this is 0, 1, FL. Now we go through each word in STRs. So each word at that index. So word 1, temp is equal to L, yes. Word 2, temp is equal to L, yes. Word 3, temp is equal to L, yes. So we don't return the prefix here. We skip these. This if condition doesn't pop off. So now we come out of this for loop. We add this prefix to temp. So now L gets added to the prefix that already has F now from the previous one. Now we increase the counter again. O. Right? O. This is now O. So for each word in STRs, temp is now O. If O is not equal to the word I. So O, yes, it's the word I. O again, word I. O is not equal to I. Now I return prefix. It returns what was there from the last one. It doesn't get to make it to this statement. So now it's just going to return FL. Right? And let's say it goes through everything. Right? Let's say it goes through everything. If it doesn't even make this, I could probably even remove this. Right? I could probably even remove this because in any scenario where it doesn't make the prefix, or if it's less than the length, but I'm gonna leave this here because let's say everything's flowers, and then flowering, right? If this index exceeds the first word, I just still return flower. You see what I'm saying? So I'm covered in all cases like this. Let's give it a run. Boom. So the run works. I passed. So now let's try submitting it because it works. The only thing now you got to keep in mind is this is going to be O of n squared time, because now you have to go through each word and you have to iterate through each letter in the word. So you're going through each word twice, basically. You're not going through all the letters, you're going just to one letter for each word. So you're incrementing through each word on one layer, and then within that layer you're going again. So it's O of n squared time, and then O of one space, because you're just storing shit in the counter, in this prefix and this index. That's about it. So let's submit it. Let's see what's going on. It's not the fastest solution. What? Index string out of range. How could it be out of range? It's based on the first word. I get it. Because if the first word is longer than the second word. But in that case, why doesn't it just return prefix? So for example, last executed was ABA, so it just stops at the test case that it fails. Okay, so let's run ABA. So we run A. Boom, increment to prefix. Okay. Now we go another pass, length 2. Length 2. So now it's going to go B. If temp is not equals thing, or, I'll just put or, word I equals none. Let's try running that. It should pass the test cases here, and then a thing. So like, let's say if it's longer, then it should just thing. String out of range again. That's so dumb. So something here is not working out. I thought this would cover it, because if you go to the okay, let me try this. Let's go to Python Playground. I just want to see what it shows if you call out an index that doesn't exist. So if I go to index 2, for example, spelled that wrong, but who cares? No one really gives a shit. Okay. S equals string print. So first I want to test that S works. A, B. A. Okay, that works. B. Why is it? Oh, because there's no bracket. B. Okay. Now I'm going to go to 0, 1, 2. What is this? Index out of range. Okay, so just the fact that you call out an out of range index. A, you could order it in terms of longest to shortest words, or B, how can I check if a string is too short? Python length, turn another thing. Check if an index is out of range. With a conditional check, okay. Index variable, so 0, 1, 2, 3. Index variable 5, so numbers 5. This index out of range. Before you can achieve this by using conditional check. I'm thinking, okay, so the only thing I need to figure out now is if the index doesn't exist. Okay, I want to see it in a conditional. So let's say if I try this now. If S I'm trying to print out what this means. String index out of range on line 2 made high. If S2 print false. Okay, so the fact that you even call it out is okay, I could do this. Okay, I opened VS Code again. I could do this. Okay, so if it automatically just cancels out because of the index length not existing, I could say if so 2, so 0 1, so my index will be 1, and then let's say I put index 2, right? So if my index is greater or let's say if my index equals the length of the word, then break. Or if I is equal to the length of the word. Run. String out of range still. What if I check? Okay, it's the way Python works is it checks the first conditional, then that. So if I do this first, I see 1 2 3 the test case is passed. So that way I'm creating a fail-safe in case the word's not long enough. That means my index, if my index has exceeded the length on that first iteration, it's going to check this, then this. So let's try submitting it now. Boom. See? So let's do a quick walkthrough of all the steps. So I go create a prefix, right? If everything in here fails, it's just going to return an empty string, like it should, right? Other than it not completely failing, the next step would be create an index that you want to iterate. So you want to go through each letter, right? And I want to use my first word as the reference point, right? So my first word is going to be reference point. So it's going to be if I is less than the length of the first word. So basically, if flower is done, this is at most what the prefix can be. This is at most. Because if the prefix can't be any longer than the first word, right? So I'm going to go if I is less than the length of thing, because 1 2 3 4 5 6, I want it to stop because it only goes up to, it's 6 letters, but it goes up to index 5. You can't go to index 6 because index 6 doesn't exist on this word. It only goes up to index 5 because it's 6 letters, minus 1. Because it starts at 0 index, right? That's why we started I equals 0. Next is the temp. So this keeps track of the current letter that we're on. So the first word, first letter. Or whatever the index is. When I equals 1, it's going to be first word, second letter. Because this I changes with every pass of this loop. Now we go into the for loop for STRs, which is for word in STR. So basically it's saying for each word here, boom, boom in STR. So word 1, word 2, word 3, and then I run the while loop again. Word 1, word 2, word 3. So for each word in STRs, I want to see if I is equal to the length of the word. You see what we did here? I is less than the length of the word. It can only be less. If your index equals the length of the word, you've exceeded. You've exceeded the string length. So you're basically looking at a character that doesn't exist. So the way Python works is it looks at your OR condition, and it looks to see if this is satisfied first. If the first condition is satisfied, then it'll check, okay, does it meet the second condition? Right? Or if it doesn't meet this, or if it does meet this, it's gonna assume that this is correct. So like for example, I went straight to temp is not equal to word I, right? But word I doesn't even exist if this length is equal to the word. If this index is equal to the length of the word, because I've exceeded already. So if I've exceeded already, I just want to end. I just want to end it. So go straight to prefix. Don't even check this condition. Right? If not, now we check this condition. Okay, so it's not equal to the length of the word. Okay. Is it the same now? So is L, L, L. Is it consistent? Okay, then we don't go in. Right? Because it's not equal. Right? So in the case that it's like O, O, I, so right now it still meets all the conditions, but it doesn't meet this condition. So we want to return right away from the prefix FL, 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 because this I failed, right? And then basically, if we pass each iteration and it never triggers this prefix, we add whatever the current prefix is. So F, let's say F, right? Word in F. So F, we have F here, we have F here, we have F here. So this never gets triggered. Now we add F to the prefix. Now this empty string now becomes F. Now we increment by 1. We do this so that we can tell the program basically what letter we're keeping track of now. F is already added to prefix. So now we go L. Boom, L, 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 right? So it's going, when you go forward in STRs, it's basically checking L, L, L. Okay, so this doesn't get triggered. So now we add it. So now prefix is already F. So now it's F plus L. Now we increment again. O, O, I. So now it's I in this third one. So temp is not equal to. So the length is fine. It's still within the range. But I in temp doesn't match with this O. So I want to right away return the prefix. Now we don't add O to the prefix. We return it as is. So what was already there from the last pass was FL. And therefore we return prefix. Right? Now there's that edge case where you could have A as the first one. So let's say, for example, how do I do this? So AB is my first word. And A is the second word. So right now my first word is longer than the second word, right? So we assumed first that the first word is as far as it goes, but there could be a case where the first word is longer than the second word. So it goes through all these, and that's where this I length of the word comes in. So right now we're at 0. So I is 0. Length of the word Length of the word, so we check each word. So length of the word, so length of word in STRS. So when you go word in STRS, it's going through each whole element. So it's going AB. Okay, let's check the length of the word. AB is 2. I is 0. Right? So we're good. Now we go to the next word. A. The length is 1. I is 0. So it doesn't matter. We're good. Now we go, we add the prefix A. A gets added to the prefix here. And we increment by 1. Now we're looking at index 1. Right? So now it goes for a word in STRS. So we go to the first word again. What's the length of the first word? 2. 1 does not equal 2. Okay, so we're good. And yeah, so 1 is not equal to the word, and B is equal to temp. So we don't go into this prefix. Now this is where the tricky part comes in. Right? Now the index is 1 because we incremented it, right? The length of this word, because we're going through the loop again for this word now. This length is 1. So now that it's equal to, we know that you can't have 0, 1. So if it gets to this check, the program crashes. So this check will prevent us from getting to this check, because it already fails this check here. Because I is equal to the length of the word. The length of the word is 1, but this is the 0 index. So if I go this word at index 1, it doesn't exist, because this only has an index 0. It's 1 letter. Right? So now we just return prefix A, and we're done. So that was pretty much the breakdown of how to do this. What's that question called again? What's the name of the question? Longest common prefix. So now that we know what the longest common prefix is, we could use the knowledge that we gained from here to solve it. Basically, you can look at the test cases, pretty much look at what test cases fail and figure out, okay, why is this test case failing? And then plan accordingly. So for example, if I go back real quick before we end off, for example, this test case here, right, where the first word is longer than the second word. Now that I had my original strategy, because remember when I first ran the tests, it passed on this, it passed on this, right? As you keep running the test and you keep encountering more test cases, all you have to do is solve for that test case. Oh my God, I keep opening VS Code. All you have to do is solve for that test case, and then it's pretty much done and good to go. So yeah, as you get to a certain level and things start passing and you try submitting it, there might be an edge case that'll fail. So then you have to think about your program and how you can make it pass based on these test cases. And the more test cases that you can pass, the more robust your solution becomes. When I say robust, it means can it withstand pressure, right? Can it stand different scenarios? So more tests are usually better because it just makes your solution able to handle more complications or issues or unknowns. So if you liked that video, please like the video or give it a thumbs up or whatever, and subscribe to the channel, The Kainologist. It's me, Kane Pear. I love doing these. So yeah, reach out if you have any questions, any suggestions. I know I have like a crappy camera right now, and the mic's not bad, but yeah, I'm gonna work on getting better equipment over time. But yeah, if you have any other suggestions, please list it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Take care.